Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started with an update on IACBE. And I thought before I start with information that I would start here. It's probably something that I would guess most of you may not be aware of, but IACBE has a statement on diversity and inclusion. It's something that we worked on last year, and the board of directors reviewed and gave their support to. And as I was telling the group yesterday, it was really a challenge for us to come up with a way to talk about diversity and inclusion in a way that would be supportive of all of our members, because we have everything from state schools, we have very fundamentalist faith-based schools, we have one school that is completely vegetarian, we have schools in India, schools in Afghanistan. So we work in a lot of areas where just the typical saying that you have to allow diversity in a laundry list of areas really was not something that would work for us, because we didn't want to be prescriptive with our schools and define diversity for them. Rather, we wanted to provide a statement that would be very supportive of them defining diversity themselves. And as you can see, we support the diverse attributes of each of our member institutions, as evidenced by faculty, students, administrators, and communities. We think that excellence in business education does require respecting and valuing the unique characteristics of all of our constituents, whatever those unique characteristics are, appropriate to the mission and vision of each particular institution. And it should result in graduates that possess knowledge and skills to meet the needs, not of business, of future business environment. Because again, if we prepare students for what business looks like today, that's what our programs are based on. By the time they graduate and get out there, they're not going to be prepared anymore. Some of you, I think, watched that video, and if you are interested in it, if you just look on YouTube, it's student versus faculty. You'll find that video, and it really was very interesting. It was a performance, but it really captured a lot of those things that everybody's talking about today. As we end with, it's our goal to work together with each of our member institutions to build a unique educational model that reflects the institution's mission and vision while advancing academic quality. So really want to encourage all of you, if you don't have a diversity statement at your institution, that as somebody in the business school, the business department, that you step forward and suggest that the institution do that there is some kind of statement on how they feel about diversity. I wanted to provide some updates about what's going on with IACBE. I won't take too long because I know Nipoli has a few things to talk about, but our annual conference is coming up next year. It actually begins with the reception on March 31st. It is being held at the Westin Galleria in Dallas, Texas. The 2 days before it begins, we'll have Board of Commissioners meeting. We'll have the Accreditation Institute if you're coming up for reaffirmation. Peregrine has a lot of activities, and we're working with Peregrine. They've been our longtime sponsor, so we're working with them on that conference. One of the big changes is in the student case study competition. We have run that for the last few years, and we are now partnering with Jordan Levy of CapSource. And he's actually running the case study competition in cooperation with IACBE. The virtual case study competition is coming up here. I think the kickoff is November 4th, so in a little over a week. We've got 10 teams participating virtually, 7 undergraduate and 3 graduate. We do have an international team from the Philippines. And they will submit both a written and a video, which will be judged by a group of judges, industry people, 1 person from the company, and 1 representative from IACBE. And then the announcement of the winner will be made the week of Thanksgiving. The students will actually have an opportunity for a group meeting along with a representative of the company. So it's a very hands-on situation, and it's what Jordan terms, and I've followed on with that term, as resume-worthy experience. It's something, if students compete in that, even if they don't win, it's the kind of experience that they can use to build their resume, and that's what we're trying to encourage schools to work with students on, providing those kinds of experiences. As the video said, not just knowledge and tests, they have to have the knowledge, but employers are looking for them to demonstrate that in an applied and active way. And we will be having a live case study competition at the annual conference. A little different, just one day and a lot of other activities for students, and there will be more coming out on that shortly. For the conference in Dallas, our keynote speakers on Wednesday morning will be Drs. Bob and Judith Wright from the Wright Institute. They do a lot of behavioral work, so I think you'll find them very interesting. And then I'm working with NACE, the National Association of Colleges and Employers, to be our keynote speaker on Thursday morning. If you haven't been to the NACE website before, go. There's lots of information about the kinds of competencies that employers are hiring for. We will be holding the Accreditation Institute next year at the annual conference in July. We don't have the exact dates, but it's toward the middle of July. And then I believe the dates are up on our website for September. We have it in Kansas City. So if you're coming up for reaffirmation, if you will be starting your self-study year in the fall of 2020, plan on attending one of those accreditation institutes. We are also in the process of going for our re-recognition with Chia, the Council for Higher Education Accreditation. We will be submitting our self-study to Chia in January. They will have somebody attend our Board of Commissioners meeting at the annual conference in 2020. We'll go before their board in November, and then we'll find out whether we have gained re-recognition through Chia. So, big process, and we may be talking to different ones of you, gathering evidence. As you provide evidence to us, we have to provide evidence to Chia. I wanted to let everybody know also that if you present at this regional conference, you can still submit that same presentation to our annual conference. We don't see this as, this is a presentation, but it's in a regional arena, and you can move up if you presented your presentation, or if it's something you've done at a national or international conference before, then it's already been presented and we will not accept it. But if you presented it at one of our regional conferences, then you can still push it up and submit it for the annual conference. Also, last year, if you submitted a presentation and you didn't get a full session, you were in one of the shorter sessions where you were one of 3 in a panel kind of setting, you may resubmit those next year to present again. The goal was, when you were in one of those smaller sessions, you thought through what you were doing, got some feedback, maybe made some improvements to your presentation, so you can resubmit those again. The call for proposals is going to be going out here probably in the next week, so please keep an eye open for that. It'll be on our website. We'll email it. If you are a program chair, director, dean, please, when you get it, send it on to all of your faculty. We don't have all of your faculty emails, so please get it out to them as much as possible. I think those are my announcements. You're going to talk about the board position. Does anybody have any questions for IACBE? Okay, you're either all ready for lunch or we've already answered your questions. So let me know over lunch or email me if you have questions.
Good morning. been a long one, but it's been a really valuable one, I think, for so many of us. And I just want to, before we get started, say thank you to Jorge Cardenas and the entire Ashford Forbes team for putting this wonderful regional conference together. So can we just give Jorge a hand? I have to say it is the most well-organized Region 8 conference that I have been to. So once again, Jorge.
Thank you, Nipoli. Thank you for coming. It's all because of you.
I'm cognizant of the fact that, because Jorge's done such a great job, it's been a really packed morning. So we want to keep this really short. I have a couple of quick announcements. So first, for anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Nipoli Kamdar. I teach at Cal Maritime, and I am the Vice President of Region 8. I am speaking to you today because the President of Region 8, Julia Underwood, was not able to make it. So normally she would be the one sort of convening this meeting. Also, our treasurer, Andrew Payne, had a family emergency and had to pull out at the last minute. But I would like to introduce, I think, the one other Region 8 officer who is here, Annette. If you want to, this is Annette Santos, and she is our secretary. And so she's going to be passing out a sign-in sheet so that we have a record of everyone who is here today. So please take a moment to do that. The other thing I want to make sure I mention is that Region 8, will be looking for a representative to the board of directors. Susan Silverstone's term is expiring, and I'd let Susan come and say a few things about what her experience is like so that you can decide if you would like to put your name forward when the call comes out.
Thank you. It's a wonderful experience, and I think Jorge, who is secretary of the board of directors, will agree. We have a good time.
Yes, indeed.
We really do have a good time. Our role is to do with the overall organization. We do not have anything to do with the reviews and the self-studies. That is nothing to do with us. We spend an awful lot of time, and I can say this because I'm not one of those, we look at a long time with finances. A lot of details about finances and reviewing the financial statements. We plan on where we're going to go next. Phyllis shared, and we also have the responsibility, I believe, for the office and the organization of IACBE. That's what we do.
You're my boss.
I'm your boss,
The
right.
board of directors is my boss.
Right. And we talk about salaries and things like that. So it's a well-organized group, and Jorge does awesome notes taking, minutes, and we're very formal, I should say that. We do have a in-person meeting at the annual conference, and then we have a virtual meeting. We just had one last week. A meeting like that, and then we do, if time does not permit, we do confirm and amend and make changes by email.